We go green for the final time. Brilliant jump by Stevens, who's turned around already. Oh, that's the worst start possible. One driver's over the barrier, I saw, Paul. They're off the racetrack. They won't make it back on. Oh, yeah, absolute catastrophe.
Stevens. That's Tim Stevens who's up over the barrier. I think that is possibly the worst start I have ever seen in a sim race. That is for sure. But Conor Martel out at the front has taken to the Joker already, as has Sage Karam and Kevin Swindell.
Yeah, a lot of drivers taking to the Jokers. That is a absolutely hilarious start. I was not expecting that off the start line. It reminded me, do you remember, Paul, back in the day in GP2, we had Timo Glock, I think, and somebody else have an accident over at the Magny Core. It looks similar to that as we watch Bucky Lasek here in the 5th position. He and Scott Speed have yet to take to the Joker. Scott Speed's right behind him in the Subaru, but he's going to have no room, and he continues to the middle sector. Brilliant decision by Speed. Karam will be overtaken by Lasek and Solberg. And Solberg, by the way, is leaving a lot of virtual oil out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, it's, this car is a bit beaten up there, and Sage is coming up to try and take him. You just see them in the background there, but Lasek, what a drive he's having so far, up into 2nd place. You see those front 5 drivers have all taken to the Joker lap so far in this race. And Sage Karam now up into 3rd place here.
So look at the drivers who haven't taken the Joker, and that's Scott Speed, who's 13.8 seconds from your leader. Here's a battle as Sage Karam made his way past Christian Solberg, and Solberg with, I think that's a car, and now Karam's going to return serve heading into the hairpin. Solberg's going to return serve again. Oh, these guys are angry.
They're beating 7 bells out of each other. This is... well, it's entertaining, but it's not exactly quick for them because everybody else is coming through. Look at that, Kevin Swindell made it past Sage. Sage and Solberg just seem to have their own personal little battle here. And Scott Speed's taken to the Joker.
And look at this, exactly. So Speed now took to it early because he was approaching all that traffic. He's got to make a move, though, on Conor Martel for the win. So it's these two of Scott Speed, 4-time Rallycross champion, to make a move on Conor Martel for victory. We're looking at that, and we're going to look at some other scraps as well. But Conor Martel, Paul, the 23-year-old, nicknamed the Hammer, could win this race if he can hold together the former Formula One driver.
Yeah, this is going to be intriguing how these two go. Speed is the fastest driver out there. He got the Yokohama award for pole position in qualifying, so he knows that he's quicker, and that's what he needs to remember. Just do what you need to do. Look at that shot round the corner there. Sensational. Karam and Semenek there, a battle in between the two of them. But yeah, great stuff to see, and look at how you see how close they get to the walls around here. It's great. Look at the run off of the jump there as well. Looking to the inside of Karam, not quite making it this time.
Well, it's been a furious heat, a furious feature, I should say the least, an FF. And I wasn't expecting this. I did expect some carnage, but I wasn't expecting this. Here's the battle for the lead. Scott Speed's only got a few laps left to make a move on Martel as we ride on board with Speed. And we watch him potentially up the inside here. He's going to get it done that quickly with a minor bit of contact. But the American is finally into 1st position.
But did you see how clean and crisp Scott was compared to Martel? Then Martel drifting it sideways. It's not the quickest way around that corner, and Speed took advantage of that down the inside. Great overtake there from Scott.
And so I don't know if we should take a breather because 3rd place is still being fought out. So Bucky Lasek in 3rd. Kevin Swindell's... I think Bucky Lasek's got it. I got confused because there's a lap car of Tim Stevens in the way. Remember, Tim Stevens was flung over the barrier, which I'm really not sure, Paul, how they managed to tow that car back onto the racetrack.
Well, they managed it. That's one of the beauties of the virtual world, is that they are able to tow that car back. But yeah, the battle for 3rd place is...
I think it's done.
It's done, but it's Swindell and Karam, though. They're still pretty close together out there on track. So don't write them out. And Semenuk and Witten as well.
Exactly. Tanner Witten just took to the Joker. Tim Stevens gets out of the way with blue flags. Witten now could potentially, we're watching this off camera, but Tanner Witten could make a move here on Brandon Semenuk for 6th. As the battle for the lead, we thought it was done, but Martel's keeping Scott Speed honest here. But yeah, it's as you said, Paul, so I think at the moment, the closest scrap is between Semenuk and Witten, and I think Witten's got his work cut out for him in the Fiesta. Has impressed, though, I would say, in his first event here in the All-Star Invitational.
Yeah, he bit of a disappointing heat race, but then he's really come on leaps and bounds into through the LCQ, and now this as well into the feature. Look at them both throw the car in, but we're on the final lap already. This event has flown by here.
Felt like just a few minutes ago there was a huge accident, wasn't there? But we still got 10 cars running somehow, and Scott Speed finally deserves all the luck on his side after 2 rounds in the opening 2 rounds that never went his way. He is officially a winner in the iRacing All-Star Invitational presented by Yokohama, and he'll be celebrating that for sure. Delight for Scott Speed, the American, who's followed by Connor Martel. Saw a Fiesta there barely. Wherever you are around the world, strap on tightly and enjoy the ride. Nine rounds of wheel-to-wheel action, 28 drivers. This is the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. After our electrifying North American trip, our All-Stars head back to luxurious Europe, but it's for the first time this season they actually get to race here as we welcome you to Lånkebanen, situated near the town of Hell in Norway, and it hosts the 4th round of the 2020 iRacing Rallycross All-Star Invitational presented by Yokohama. All coverage today on the iRacing Esports Network. Pleasure to have you all on the coverage. It's Jonathan Simon on hand alongside Paul Smith. Paul, I don't know how to sum up last week. I've been thinking about it throughout the week, but it was quite an entertaining one, wasn't it, for sure? No short of accidents, no short of great battles, no short of nothing.
Absolutely, the drivers put it on the line last week, didn't they? And they really gave us some entertainment out there, especially at the start of that one. But yeah, what a performance last week. And then this week now, they're getting the opportunity for the first time to head around this fantastic, legendary circuit here at Lånkebanen.
Yeah, we didn't race here for round 1. So this is the first time we head to Norway. Here's the track info on screen. So it's a 1.03 kilometer circuit, 0.6 miles depending on your units of choice. 7 corners around here. Now there is a jump. It's only so slight, and it's located along the start-finish straight with a 63% asphalt, 37% dirt split. There's a little bit of dirt on the exit of turn 1 as you head onto the loose and into turn 2. The Joker, though, Paul, at this racetrack is not a shortcut that we have at our North American venues. It's the long way round, and that makes strategy all too interesting.
Absolutely. Normally, if you're out the front, you take that shortcut immediately and just able to control from the front, or maybe use that shortcut to jump your opponents. This one, it's the opposite way around. You've got to really think the long game of, right, am I going to get myself some clear space to be able to put in some fast times? So that's what these drivers are having to contend with around this magnificent venue.
Certainly is magnificent. It's the only European venue on the iRacing service, but there is a push to bring more of them to iRacing in the IRX community. We are currently in qualifying. It's going to sort out who goes where for your heats. We're going to have a Marwin Sports LCQ and then straight to a feature race as we ride on board here for a lap around Lånkebanen. So here's turn one, Paul. This is with Sage Karam, our round one winner at Daytona. This is the loose as you head into the braking zone into turn two. Slowest corner on the circuit. And then turn four coming up is a great overtaking opportunity.
It is, and we saw in the World Championship series a few weeks ago how Mitchell de Jong was able to make moves into that particular hairpin. This left-hander here is a really tricky corner. The car wants to push out wide, you see it right there, and that tightens up this hairpin here. Sage taking the V-knit off approach and getting the run out the corner, up over the jump, and back to the start of the lap once again.
Yeah, so we're trying to register some lap times here. I think that might have been an out lap for Sage Karam, so we're right on board with him for the rest of his hot lap as he approaches turn four again. Now, you brought up Mitchell de Jong, Paul. He actually ran wide here on the opening lap, if you remember, and that allowed Alari Lamentsiva a run on him, and he ended up winning round number one. So a rare mistake from our 2016 GRC Lights champion, but this is an IndyCar driver we're riding on board with, Sage Karam, who was definitely quick on the sim racing service. You'll cross the line and set a blitzing lap time there of a 37.9. And that should put him into second. That's behind Connor Martell, who currently has provisional pole.
Connor Martell had a really good showing last time out, didn't he? He really did give us a good show. Scott Speed now clearly to the top of your standings now with his lap time. Steve Arpin as well we're on board with. He's just getting some lap times in here. He'll be starting his second lap of qualifying. They get 3 laps of qualifying, everybody here in this one. But yeah, Connor Martell, I was pleasantly surprised by his performance last week. He did very well.
Yeah, very poised, the young man.
And to the top of the standings now.
Yeah, so great improvement. I think Scott Speed will have something to say about that as the track wears in during qualifying and gets quicker. This is the Loneborough Motorsports Ford Fiesta of Steve Arpin, the Canadian, who's still getting accustomed to the simulator. He's raced in NASCAR. He's raced in the Nationwide Series. He has some experience there, but he's also most experienced in Red Bull GRC and the America's Rallycross Championship. He scored a few podiums in ARX, but 3 race wins in GRC. Here is Scott Speed as he heads towards turn number 1. Has he improved his time? He might be getting another lap here, and that's something that you do, Paul, to reset those tires. You get fresh rubber, and it makes a huge difference, worth up to around half a second in Rallycross.
Yeah, this is the lap that will count. Gets it wrong at the hairpin, abandons the lap then. So Scott Speed will not be your fastest man around this circuit. Sage Karam has just finished his times. Andrew Carlson and Mario Bonfonte have not set qualifying times, and they're running out of time here. Just 45 seconds remaining in this session here.
Yeah, Andrew Carlson's got an interesting story. He races in Pro 2 and Pro 4 trucks. He makes a mockery of turn 4, and that's going to end his session. He's not going to have enough time to make it back round for another lap, but he'll end up making it through to a heat anyway. But for Andrew Carlson, his story, as I said, begins in snowmobiles too, and he's moved into trucks, and we'll talk a bit more about him a little later on. But he'd be delighted, Paul, that you can access the pro trucks here on the iRacing service.
Yeah, certainly can, and they're a lot of fun to race as well, I can assure you of that. Mario Bonfonte Jr. across the line does not set a qualifying time, so he'll be starting from the back. But yeah, everybody's qualifying is done, so we'll be headed in to the first of the heats here.
And for the first time this season, we have a different pole sitter who's going to be awarded the Yokohama Pole Award. So it goes to Connor Martell, who will begin from the first position here at Lånkebanen, and Sage Karam alongside him. It's a top three for the front row. Tyler Meninga will start on the outside, and then behind them will be Steve Arpin, Andrew Carlson, and Mario Bonfanti Jr. for this 5-lap heat. So just waiting.
Yeah, I was just going to say, drivers just preparing themselves, getting themselves ready, and they'll be hoping that their reaction times are good. Around here, first lap, if you're on the outside, try and take the Joker on this first lap here.
Ready to go anytime soon. As Paul just said, the outside, that's what you generally see when Rallycross visits here out in the motorsport world. In the virtual world, it can be a different story. Let's find out what happens. First heat of 2 for the day. Green from Norway. Brilliant getaway from Sage Karam. He's already going to jump Connor Martel into turn 1. Karam's given enough space. We've got a couple of drivers taking to the Joker here. 4 on to the normal part of the racetrack. Karam, though, has the lead sealed from Connor Martel.
Don't write out Connor Martel yet. He's there and thereabout, looking to the inside. Oh, Karam just chops off his nose a little bit. Oh. These two, I think this is going to be, this is a bit of an accident further back, but these two at the front, I think they're going to be at each other's throats throughout this event here.
Yep, so that was Steve Arpin and Mario Bonfanti Jr. collecting each other. They fall into the back of the pack. Meninga and Carlson have taken to the Joker, so that will light up on the left-hand side of the screen when they cross the line. And Connor Martel going for the bump and run. Thankfully, Karam keeps it pointing in a straight line as they head for another trip here around Norway. And look at Karam yoinking the handbrake, and he's made a mockery of turn 4. He's going to have to serve a slowdown penalty.
That's it. If you've never seen the sim before, if you do cut the corner, iRacing, the simulation does give you a slowdown penalty. That's an amount of time you have to give back and serve before an allotted period runs out, or else you get yourself a further penalty. Karam decided to take to the Joker, which you can see on the graphics on the left-hand side.
Yeah, where's he going to appear, though? Normally you save that Joker to the final lap, but I think Karam wants some clear air here, and he reappears in second. So your top 2 advance to the feature. The rest are going to head to your Marwin Sports LCQs. And for Karam, looks like he could have the advantage here on Martel. I think Martel, unless, Paul, he's watching the gaps, Martel could take the Joker this lap to defend. Otherwise, if he's quicker with the clear air, he might continue to the final lap.
It's not the cleanest into turn 1, though, from Martel then, as they head on into 2. This is a tricky corner as 2, isn't it, Jonathan? Just how tight it is up over the curbs there for Connor. Swings the back end around. It's spectacular to watch. Oh, now, has he taken too much of that corner? I think he's got away with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ever so slightly, Paul. You're allowed to do that. There is dispensation for cutting the track there. The sawtooth curbs really rattle the wheel, don't they? If you're driving a force feedback wheel, Paul, that'd be very loud if you've got some family in the house. As we watch Martel head to the Joker. Where's he going to appear, though, in relation to Sage Karam? Oh, he's not even close.
Clear. Oh, that's brilliant. So Karam's had a nightmare of a run. I mean, he was 0.3 of a second slower on his last lap compared to Martel. So Martel, all he's got to do is keep it clean, and he's got the win here.
These two both represent Dreyer and Reinbold Racing. So the 2 teammates will head home to your feature race. Everybody else to your Marwin Sports LCQs. I dare say that with 1 corner to go. But Connor Martel, the 23-year-old from Vermont, will win. And we'll have pole position for your feature race. Let's look at your final race results from Norway. It was a good battle for the lead, though. Pretty quiet after lap 1, but we did have the contact pull between Arpin and Bonfanti Jr., which set them down to the back of the pack.
I mean, Bonfanti Jr. has only just come across the line now, but there's your results then. Martel and Karam through, Meninga, Carlson, Arpin, and Bonfanti Jr. through to the LCQ.
And let's take a look at your starting grid. Scott Speed, first round in the All-Stars Series where he hasn't scored pole position, but he'll start from pole for your second of 2 heats today, alongside Kevin Swindell. Tim Stevens will have the outside line. Arie Luyendyk Jr. didn't have the best of debut rounds in the All-Star Invitational at Iowa. He'll be looking to make amends for that from the back. And Bilko Williams, we're hearing that maybe Bilko Williams will not take part in this race. He's fallen foul to some technical issues, which will mean he may potentially not make your grid, which will mean, Paul, a 4-car heat.
4 cars out on the grid. I mean, half of this field there to advance. I mean, we're really going to fire through these heats here. So here we go then. The second race is about to start.
5 laps of action, 1 joker available for the drivers. Final heat of your All-Star Invitational. And we're underway from Norway. Brilliant jump from the Subaru Motorsports USA car of speed. He's going to be untouched as they head to turn 1. Only Tim Stevens heads to the joker in the 64 Subaru. Everybody else onto the loose. So it's speed from Swindell, from Luyendyk Jr., and Tim Stevens with clear track to lap away and potentially gain a transfer position.
Well, this is it. If this is the risk that you take, taking that joker lap there right at the start, you're hoping that you can get some really good times with clear track in front of you, and that's what Tim Stevens will be hoping. Luyendyk Jr. Just getting a little bit loose coming off of that dirt then. End of lap 1 already. It's speed, Swindell, Luyendyk Jr. and Stevens. Anybody going to the joker? Yes, Luyendyk Jr.
Now where's he going to appear in relation to Tim Stevens? There's Stevens in the back of shot. You just caught him. And he appears ahead of Arie. And you can just tell Luyendyk Jr. is struggling to get a feel for the sim. As much experience as he has racing in IndyCar, he's competed in Indy Lights as well. He's won a race in Indy Lights in his many years of experience. But racing on a sim is a completely different story sometimes.
Yeah, you've not got that seat of your pants feel, have you? You're relying more on your feel through your force feedback wheel, from the sounds of the simulation as well, and what you can see as well. So you are relying on those other sensors to try and compensate for not having that pendulum in your backside that really helps you in one of the real cars.
Scott Speed looks to be running away with a transfer position. So 3.8 seconds is the gap. And Kevin Swindell is currently 3.9 ahead of Tim Stevens. So that's the gap we're looking for. Swindell better off. You know what, Paul? He's better off taking the joker this time round if he feels he's being held up by American Scott Speed. Let's have a look.
See, for me, I would have also taken that if you're Swindell as well, just to do something different to Scott Speed. You're in second place. It's difficult to overtake around here. Try something different there.
They continue on lap 4 or 5. So next trip round will be the final lap, and it'll be the final opportunity for the both of them to take to the joker. I do feel like Tim Stevens now cannot keep up with the 2 ahead. The gap's 4.2 seconds. Unless Swindell butchers the joker, he's got the transfer position done. 4.6 now the gap, 4.7. Here they head to the joker, and where are they going to appear? So Stevens is behind. It's not even close. Anticlimactic. Oh, I'm so disappointed at that result. I thought it was going to be so much closer. Stevens is going to push, though, and this means vital grid position for the LCQs regardless.
Absolutely. You take your result here and puts you into a good position if you finish in third place. Puts you onto that front row of the grid for the LCQ. But final corner, Scott Speed is coming across the line.
He'll start on the front row in the feature, and across the jump he goes. What a spectacular sight for Scott Speed, who won his first race in the All-Star Invitational last week. Fell foul to some bad luck. Today he'll be enjoying that one because of the fact that he avoided a lot of carnage. As we'll look at your results for heat number 2. Speed wins from Kevin Swindell. Stevens, Luyendyk Jr. will head towards your Marwin Sports LCQs. DNS did not start for Bilko Williams. Here's the grid for your LCQ. So a couple of the drivers from that heat, including Stevens and Luyendyk Jr., straight into it, no break.
Yeah, but now that can count against you sometimes, or it can actually count for you. It can be an immediate, right, let's reset and let's go straight away. So that's what could potentially happen with these ones. It's fast-paced action, as we see week after week here on this broadcast. It's thoroughly enjoyable. And, well, I mean, good luck to these drivers, because they are going to have a lot of fun into this final one. I believe it's 6 that get through.
Yeah. So it's 6 that head through. It's almost like a game of Russian roulette, because 7 are taking part in this Marwen Sports LCQ. So it's going to be 5 laps of action as always. 1 joker available for the drivers. Have a look at the outside. That's Andrew Carlson in the red Subaru. Ready to go for the Marwen Sports LCQ. We're underway from Norway. And an awful start by Carlson on the outside. To the joker is almost everybody. Almost everyone wanted to take to the joker. Bonfanni Jr. continues, and some contact behind. The joker has been a catastrophe.
Yeah, Tim Stevens was the one who got caught up in all of that. He got turned. You can see him just making his way around now. So everyone trying to get that joker out the way. One driver who didn't was Bonfanni Jr. But the thing is, I don't think he wanted to take to the joker, but he was almost forced to. There's contact with a wall there, and more contact between cars now.
So we talked about 6 advancing, 1 driver will miss out, but this is, I mean, who knows who it will be? Could be anyone. Bonfanni Jr. continues. He's already been caught by the pack, but just remember, he needs a transfer spot. Doesn't need to win the heat. Have a look at, over the sawtooth curbs, and surely some floor damage there.
Well, don't forget that Bilko Williams isn't taking part in this, so every one of these qualified, but this is all about grid position for that final, for that feature race.
Oh, and we're just seeing, so I didn't see Bilko on the grid. So I think everyone's going to head through to the feature. So that confused me. I didn't see him on the grid graphic, but Bilko is actually out of the race. Well, that's an anticlimax. Everybody's advancing, Paul. It's like an episode of Oprah.
No, but this is all about grid position at the end of the day, and where you want to. End of the day, these are all competitive people. They want to win at the end of the day. They want to do the best that they can. Bonfanni Jr., by the way, he's just taken his joker lap. He's in 2nd place. We saw how he wasn't comfortable in that opening heat for himself. Well, these 2 behind, they're all over the back of him now, putting him under pressure here. Lyndak Jr. and Arpin.
Cracking battle. So Steve Arpin came in like a wrecking ball, didn't he, on the opening lap. He's trying to make an overtake here on Ari Leondijk Jr. in the Subaru. Arpin to the inside, but door closed. Brilliant defending by Ari, as we wait to see who's yet to take the joker this time by. So we're still waiting on Ari Leondijk Jr. Everybody else, though, has taken it. As we spoke about, Bilko Williams couldn't make the grid again. So that means it's 6 cars in this heat. Into the wall goes Ari. Into the wall goes the entire field.
Arpin had to get out of it then, because Bonfanni Jr. just chopped his nose off there. And, well, we're coming through to start the last lap, and Aaron Lyndak Jr. is battling these drivers. But the thing is, our graphic shows he hasn't taken the joker, and he's into the back of Bonfanni Jr.
It's almost as if it's a wet race on dry tires, and everybody's trying to manage somehow to make it to the checkered flag. And I never thought I'd say this, but is it possible that someone would miss out even though there's only 6 cars? I don't think so. That's mathematically impossible. But let's sort out the grid position now. So it's Meninga from Arpin, from Bonfanni Jr. Meninga's going to win the heat. And then Leondijk Jr.'s fed, where is he? He's in 4th, right? So then we got Tim Stevens in 5th, Andrew Carlson in last. Now remember, Paul, it's going to be an inverted top 10 for your feature. So a bonus position for Andrew Carlson. He's got pole.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of spice added to this this final now, isn't it? Because having that inversion really does help matters as we have a bit of time just to take a quick break there. But Tyler Meninga, great job from him to to take that victory there over Steve Arpin. Bob Fontaine Jr., I thought he was a bit unlucky there to finish in third. Lauren Leindak Jr., Stevens, Carlson are the ones who are through to the final.
We're going to preview that final in a few moments' time. Let's hear from our partners at Yokohama first, but it's been, I'll tell you this, it has been a chaotic round from Norway. We'll preview all of that after this. So ready to go for our final feature race here from Norway. The All-Star Invitational presented by Yokohama. 10 drivers in the field, and they've all made it, but it's going to be an inverted top 10. Jonathan Simon alongside Paul Smith. Paul, how do we wrap up this event so far? I've quite enjoyed it, I'll tell you that much. There has been action. And you always say, and everybody always says, it's quality over quantity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Conor Martel and Sage Karam, those two from race one, the opening heat, was certainly really good to see those two duking it out. Scott Speed added into that mix as well from heat number 2 that we had. I think those three really are going to be quite close together for each other. Yeah, we've got an inverted grid, haven't we? So these drivers will have to, those drivers who finished those opening heat races in the first 2 spots are going to have to work hard to work their way through the rest of your field to try and get any chance of winning here.
And Scott Speed last week, when we spoke to him after the race, said he quite enjoyed having the inverted top 10. He also understands that the field and the experience level is distributed throughout everybody. You've got some drivers who've competed with the best of the best in the sim racing world, others who have minimal experience on or with technology and on computers and on simulators too. And another fact for you as well is that we haven't had a repeat race winner all season. So will that occur today from Norway?
I think it's quite difficult to call, actually. I mean, Scott, we know, has got the out-and-out pace in this vehicle and in this environment on the sim. Sage Karam is somebody who knows a lot about sim racing, winner of the opening round of this All-Star Invitational. I've still got a sneaky feeling that Conor Martel could pull this one out the bag here for today and could end up with the big W against his name.
Yeah, so round 1 was Sage Karam. Remember the seas parting at Daytona.
Yeah.
Exciting little start there. Probably one of the best starts I've ever seen in Rallycross. Then you had Christian Solberg at Atlanta and Scott Speed last week from Iowa. And we didn't visit, or the All-Stars didn't visit for round 1 and actually race here at Norway as when the sim racers participated. The drivers are currently in warm-up. That's what you're seeing out there on the racetrack, just trying to get their final laps in. We've got about a minute or so to go until your feature race. Now, a few things and a few notable things for you that have happened in the past few weeks. Congratulations to Subaru. This was about a month ago. They broke the old world record parade of 549 Subarus. The record is now 1,751 Subarus. That was at the historical SubiFest event, and their next goal is to break the overall record, and that's held by Volkswagen, Paul, which is, have a guess here, how many vehicles do you reckon?
Many Volkswagens were at that venue, so what's it going to be?
2,728 Volkswagens. Subaru's aiming for that.
It's a big one, but if there's one thing I know about Subaru owners is that they're passionate about their vehicles. So certainly it will be a logistical nightmare to try and organise that, but I will say if one group of car owners would do that, it is the Subaru owners.
Yeah, it certainly would. And if you haven't already seen, Travis Pastrana's Gymkhana Subaru livery was released, I think, a week or so ago. Looks striking, looks lovely. Can't wait to see what they produce with that. Travis not racing today. Hopefully he's back in future events for the All-Star Invitational. First one he's actually missed, and he's copped the short straw at almost every event, as we'll take a look at your feature race grid from Lånkebanen. And it's Andrew Carlson from pole position, Tim Stevens alongside him, and Ari Lånkebanen Jr. on the outside. Hopefully there's no Joker catastrophe here on the first lap from Mario Bonfanti Jr., Steve Arp, and Tyler Meninga. And then the rest of the field includes Kevin Swindell, Sage Karam, a race winner, along with Scott Speed. They're going to start next to each other. Connor Martel will start from 10th and rounds out your 10-car feature race field.
If you're Connor Martel right now, because he starts at the back on his own in 10th place, you just sit back, see what chaos happens in front of you, and just puck your way through, I think. That's what I'd be doing if I was Connor right now. Just look going into turn number 1.
Connor Martel, who's racing for Dreyer and Reinbold Racing. The Hammer, as he's known. Will he hammer his way past? Or will he take on Paul Smith's advice and be poised on the entrance into turn 1 for the first time here at Norway? So 10 laps of action for this feature. 1 Joker. Bragging rights and pride for the winner. And we'll crown a podium that follows closely behind. Here we go. We go green from Norway for the final time. Was that Bonfanti Jr. who went nowhere on the line, and Connor Martel just blitzed his way past? I think 5 cars head to the Joker. We'll try and make out who is where.
Contact Sage Karam. Oh, even more now with Steve Arpin, and Connor Martel's caught up in all of that.
So Sage Karam on his roof and just disposed off the racetrack like discarded rubbish. To the lead, though, at the moment, looks like it's Tim Stevens. Oh, no, Tim Stevens is out of the race. That's... Well, I'm not sure who's in the lead.
He's still in the race.
Yeah, the timing screen's all over the place, so it's not
Tyler
Stevens
Meninga
in the lead. But it's Tyler Meninga from what I'm seeing, as Kevin Swindell here lead. No, Kevin Swindell's leading the pack, Paul.
Yeah, he is. That tells you how much our timing screen messed up there. Martel, though, second place, as yet more take to the Joker lap. But Scott Speed was one of those first drivers to take to the Joker lap, and you saw how he was right behind Sage Karam after his incident. So Karam is massively disadvantaged right now.
Yeah, always trust your eyes, not the timing screen. That's what we've learned as we see Connor Martel potentially cop a slowdown penalty here. Might get away with that. This is the battle for the effective lead. These two are yet to take the Joker. Scott Speed is looming, though. He's got the Delta on these two. And will any of them pounce towards that 3.8 second Joker? They don't. And Scott Speed's got to be patient here if he's going to have to make an on-track overtake.
Well, Swindell's doing a fantastic job of just holding back Martel here. Holding that position for the time being. Martel looking to the inside, though. Slide job down the inside. And what a move from Martel. We see Scott Speed there on screen, but Martel down the inside. And Swindell is struggling to keep up with him.
Podium last week for Martel. This is a carbon copy of what we saw at Iowa. Scott Speed may have to overtake Martel out there on the racetrack as the lead switches yet again. And remember, if you look at the left-hand side of the screen, the Joker Delta graphic, Speed has taken the Joker. These two have an up ahead, so keep that in mind. And they're about to lap somebody up ahead. Is that Ari Lånkebanen Jr., who has... I think he came into the car for some... came into a virtual pit, Paul, for some servicing, but he's back out with a fresh Subaru.
He's struggling out there, and he's getting out the way of the leaders. So that's really good heads-up driving from Ari to get out the way. But it's been a real struggle for him in the sim to try and learn it. Now Martel takes to the Joker, and Scott Speed is just right up behind Swindell, who goes back to the lead, but is yet to serve his Joker.
Swindell racing for Swindell Speed Lab, and the 31-year-old here is going to be shoved out of the way, and as we like to say, Paul, almost bullied out of the way by Scott Speed. He's got to dispose of him quickly because Scott Speed's got a hungry 23-year-old right behind, ready to take victory.
It certainly is, and Swindell doing a fantastic job. Really great defensive display of driving there as another driver getting out the way. But Scott Speed now will start feeling a little bit more desperate because Martel is up to the rear bumper now of Scott Speed. So that's it's a little bit more pushing going on from Scott Speed there. But to Swindell...
He might come in right here, Paul. I was just about to say, the inside opens. Martel, I thought he was going to have a look at Scott Speed. The two collide, and that's going to open the door for Connor Martel, who gets bullied into the wall by Scott Speed. Scott Speed physically making his way through and keeping that first position effectively from Martel. And Martel slowed down. Does he have issues?
Yeah, he'll have damaged his suspension on the wall there, on the dirt, from that contact with Scott Speed. So he'll be struggling with suspension damage. So effectively now, Scott Speed is your race leader because of Swindell yet to take to the Joker lap there. But Martel now has got to start worrying behind him because Tyler Meninga is catching up fast.
So Martel's continuing at least, but as Paul said, he might have suspension damage. We're actually also hearing word he may have copped an automated slowdown penalty that iRacing serves you if you cut the track. But here is the battle for your race win. Remember, Swindell is yet to take the Joker. He's son of three-time World of Outlaws sprint car champion Sammy Swindell, for those who might recognize the name. Very famous name in the world of dirt oval racing, as Scott Speed has been racing for Subaru Motorsports USA for a few years now. We'll look to take and be our first repeat race winner potentially in the All-Star Invitational.
Yeah, we were wondering whether we'd get a new winner or whether we'd get another a repeat winner. Now Swindell can't take that Joker lap because of that lap traffic. It's really disadvantaging him. He's waiting for the last lap now. These two have pulled away that far that really it's going to be Speed trying to look at him. But Martel should feel confident. Swindell should feel confident that he could get second place here in this race.
Sage Karam there, what a move. Surprised he's still running after he was flipped over his roof. Probably $100,000 worth of damage this race. Thankfully all virtual as we watch Swindell finally go for the Joker. That will hand the lead to Scott Speed. He's made a mockery of the Joker there, Paul, as well, but he's come out clean. Now, is he come out behind? Was that? I don't think that was Connor Martel.
I think,
yeah, so Connor Martel is still in third, and Swindell cuts the track there. Is that a slowdown, though?
No, he should be fine there. Should be okay. Work his way past lap traffic, but Scott Speed at the front. He's got one more corner to go. What a drive from Scott again.
Winner for round number 4 of the Subaru All-Star Invitational, in the Subaru I should say, is Scott Speed. Takes victory from Norway. It was always going to happen, wasn't it, today? He enjoys these inverted top 10s as, oh gee, goodness gracious, some wrecking going on down the back of the pack. Kevin Swindell comes home in second. Connor Martel with another podium to his name. As we look at your results, as the Swindell Speed Lap car did a brilliant job holding off Speed for most of the event. But Scott just took it easy, understood that Swindell was yet to take the Joker. And the drivers know that from the cockpit. They don't need a spotter. They can actually see that using the dash. Sage Karam, after flipping on his roof, ended up in 4th. Somehow brought the Dreyer and Reinbold Subaru back home. Tyler Meninga rounded out the top 5. Now, the rest of the field included Steve Arpin, who was still running for Lonebro Motorsports. He was the only non-Subaru out there in the field as he ran the Ford Fiesta. Then Mario Bonfanni Jr., Andrew Carlson, we saw them lapped. Now, Tim Stevens actually took to the virtual pits, which you can do in Rallycross, and ended up rejoining the race 2 laps down. That's why you find Tim Stevens down the order. And Ari Lyondike Jr. pulled the plug, I should say, on that event, and was a DNF in your feature race. All right, we're going to hope to speak to some of the drivers after what was a brilliant, I thought it was a brilliant race for sure. Plenty of action going on, but it's all going to come after this. Don't leave us. Post-race interviews on the other side of this break.
Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
Great to have your company for the IRX All-Star Invitational presented by Yokohama from Jonathan Simon and Paul Smith. I quite enjoyed that feature race there, Paul.
Yeah, that was quite an entertaining event. Quite an eventful opening to the race as well. Once again, it seems to be a theme for these All-Star Invitational races, but definitely really enjoyable first part of this broadcast. But really great result for your drivers on the podium as well.
We've got Scott Speed on the line, who again started from the back of the pack in the inverted grid. I thought you quite enjoyed that one, Scott. It was a bit concerning that Kevin Swindell held you up for most of the event, though.
It was a lot of fun, to be fair. I mean, he does an incredible job with what he's got. I mean, it's pretty. This is definitely one of the more difficult cars to drive, and the fact that I think him and Mario are driving it basically with hand controls is pretty spectacular. I mean, it goes to show what kind of a wheelman Kevin was in real life. And in any case, the race was really fun. I'm glad he didn't let me by, to be fair, because then it really wouldn't have been a race.
Well, I was going to say, for those that don't know at home, of course, Kevin did suffer a serious accident. It was at the Knoxville Nationals in 2015, so he was left paralyzed below the waist. But, I mean, how impressed are you by that, Scott? I'm not sure if you've seen Mario's story in the whole device he's built to be able to just drive a real thing.
I have heard a bit of Mario's story because a very good friend of mine, Lance Fenderson, has a very similar injury, and we've been working at trying to get him something kind of similar, it's one of those deals when you're a race car driver and you lose something like that, it's really difficult to still do what you love, but it's not impossible, and Mario certainly proved that, and same with Kevin. So it's really great to see those guys out there, still wheeling it.
So inverted top tens. I know you like to make your way through the field, but was that start as chaotic as you thought? Because I'm not sure if you saw it. It might have been alongside you, but Mario Bonfani Jr. almost looked like he stalled the car. He went nowhere, and Connor Martel just went packing straight into him at a full speed of, I think, I would guess around 100 kilometers an hour.
I didn't see their start, but certainly my start was about as lucky as you could get. I don't know how, but I kind of I took the Joker, and the seas parted. And it was from there, the race was won. I just had to not crash, basically. So, I had definitely some bad luck at the beginning of the year, but I think this race repaid me with some good fortune for sure.
And what's going on in the motorsport world for you coming up over the next few months? Anything you want your fans to visit? Hopefully the world's staying safe too, though, unfortunately, during the
we're all staying safe here. I think the NRS, or the Nitro Circus Rallycross, is they've made some announcements, and we still keep working on our car. We'll be ready for whatever comes up next year. I think I actually head up to the shop soon to do some testing again, but in the meantime, it's great to have such a great simulation program here with all the guys at iRacing putting together these races, and it keeps our racing juices flowing.
Hey, I should mention, are you ever going to do it? I'm not sure if you've already done it, but get involved in some Gymkhana filming potentially with Travis?
I think I leave the majority of the stunt driving and jumps to Travis. He seems to be pretty proficient at that, and I'll keep to my area of expertise.
Driving fast, that is, and making your way with seas parting and the rallycross side of it. Is that all?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
We'll leave you to it, Scott, but congratulations again. You're the first repeat winner, so take that home with you and enjoy that. But nice. we're gonna speak to Kevin Swindell next, who came home in second. Now, Kevin, you got us first of all?
Yes, sir.
So, Kevin, we were just talking to Scott about, and I don't mean to start on this note, but you had a brilliant performance out there, but we're talking to him about your situation. You had a huge accident 5 years ago. You've got a lot of people who may not know who you are, but you did an impressive job to race due to your limitations today.
Yeah. Some of the corners here are a little tough on me, but I've gotten a lot better as kind of the first season went on, and then figuring out some ways to get around some stuff, and then Scott's even helped me a little bit with just trying to figure out what gears to be in and things like that. And I think before I was having to use the gears to turn a lot, and now I've kind of gotten to where I'm more comfortable getting my hands wrapped up and staying in the higher gears. And I think that's gotten me a lot closer to these guys.
Do you have force feedback enabled on your wheel?
Yeah. I with these things and some of the other stuff, I can't do without it. Like the sprint cars, I'm able to run with almost none, and it seems to be better. But like the sprint cars, I run still on 900 degrees of rotation. Like with these, the only way I can keep up is on like 600. So that kind of hurts me, I think, overall, just because the reaction's so much quicker, and I don't have quite as much room for air, kind of. But I think we've gotten better. Hopefully, I know they made a nicer version of all the hand controls for Wickens. I've been leaning on Pappas and those guys and trying to get me one to try.
Well, I mentioned the force feedback thing because we just hilariously watched you take the entire Subaru onto these sawtooth curbs, and I thought, man, that wheel probably clamped itself off the desk.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, I don't know if I run all as much as maybe some of these guys do. I think I'm on like 6 or 7, so it's not that aggressive. But yeah, that corner down at the bottom of the hill is hell on me, because it's like I think those guys are able just to crank the thing like hard right and just stay in the gas and drive up over that curb. And I'm so like wrapped up in my right hand's trying to throttle that I'm like all the way up almost under the desk with my fingers like crooked trying to stay on the gas. So those kind of wear at me. Like Iowa was nice because it was lots of lefts, so my right hand was always on the top and was in like a happy spot. And here it's so much right-hander that I'm like trying to short shift on top of throttle with my fingers. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean this. That seriously sounds impressive. I don't think many of us would be able to do something like that. Now, final thing I'll ask you is, this racetrack, have you ever been here in the real world? I assume not, because I know a lot of your experience lies in North America, but this is somewhere you got to visit, right? Surely get some laps around here in a real rallycross car?
Yeah, this is cool. I mean, honestly, ever since I got hurt, rallycross was one of the things that I kind of like poked at anybody who had some pull about, maybe doing. I felt like it was something that, with the gearboxes and things, it put all the controls, in my fingers instead of, like a stock car or something where you have an H pattern, over out of your hand and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'd love to do something. This place seems really neat. The whole, complex seems, like it'd be a lot of fun to spend some time on. So, maybe one day when we get out of this, craziness that we're stuck in.
Oh yeah, well, definitely. We'll leave you to it, Kevin. That's your 4-time Chili Bowl Nationals winner, Kevin Swindell, and congratulations too on the podium. And we got one more driver to speak to, and that is going to be Connor Martell, who scores another podium yet again. Connor, this is a recurring occurrence for you, you could say.
Yeah, it's been an awesome season so far. It's definitely nice to be consistent. Unlike the last season. So, podiums win championships. So that's all I'm looking for.
How was the race for you out there? Because let's start from the start, because hilariously we saw, well, at least I had an off camera or a camera off air watching your onboard perspective, and you went straight into the rear end of Bonfanti Jr. Now, I'm not sure if you missed a gear or forgot to engage launch control, but you had damage from the start.
Yeah, definitely wasn't expecting him not to go. So luckily, I kind of shot straight under him, though, and kind of kept the forward momentum moving. And then got around the first corner. I was contemplating going to the Joker or not. But, yeah, I just tried to run my race, had damage from the beginning. And then Tim, Stevens, and Scott got into a little bit coming into the last dirt section there, and I got hit into the wall. And that's when I had quite a bit of damage after that. So it was really hard to keep up with them. But once I saw Scott right behind me after he took the Joker on the first lap, I knew it was I would have to really pick up the pace. But overall, it was a really good race. And I think it was a really good race to watch. There was a lot of battling.
Last question for you. You're somebody who's raced in ARX2 before. You were the 2018 ARX2 champion. You've raced a lot on the Sim 2. You're pretty quick on the service. Which one's tougher to race wheel to wheel? Because I've always argued that sim racing, I think, is much more tougher to race wheel to wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really hard to judge the passing and contact in sim racing, because as soon as you touch somebody, it almost sends them flying. Whereas in real life, obviously, you can hit them pretty hard, and the car's not going to jump across the track. So I'd say you have to be a lot more careful with the car in the sim racing. So there's a lot of strategic behind being fast and consistent on the sim.
All right, Connor, we're going to leave you to it, but congratulations again on the podium. That's Connor Martel, your 2018 ARX2 champion, who brings home the Dreyer and Reinbold Subaru onto the podium. So your All-Stars are wrapped up. They'll hopefully be back next week at Sonoma. But now we're going to head towards a replay of your Sim Racers World Championship, because that's coming up next. We're going to look at the replay from round 4 at Iowa, and then we're going to head straight into the round 1 highlights that we saw here from Norway. What a classic that was. Don't leave us. An action-packed World Championship event for round number 5 coming up in a few moments' time. .7 seconds to Mitchell de Jong in the lead. Hearth, you would think, would defend it. He should take to the Joker, I reckon, next lap round. He's got to.
Yeah, you don't want to give Mitchell too much of an advantage, especially making landings like that off of the jump. Not ideal. Take yourself to the Joker, cut it out. No, he's deciding to carry on. He feels that he's got the pace there, does Johan, and showing that he's confident in his abilities. He'll be having a teammate helping him out, spotting for him, letting him know where the traffic is, what the gap is, so he knows exactly the right moment to take that Joker.
And you know what? Toivonen has the gap on Mitchell de Jong. So if it remains as it is right now, de Jong will potentially finish in 3rd, but he's improving his time. Hearth is losing 10th by 10th to Mitchell de Jong, and Hearth takes to the Joker. He recognizes this. Can he defend the lead from de Jong? Hearth swipes the wall, and I hope that Team Yokohama Subaru remains unscathed, and that is not a sight Mitchell de Jong would want to see.
He had to do it at that point because Mitchell was pulling that advantage over Johan, and he had to get it out there and stop Mitchell from gaining more time. But this just means now that we have got a battle on at the front of your field. But you mentioned it there, Jonathan. Rasmus Toivonen, you don't write him out of this one.
And you know what? I think Toimonen's going to take the Joker. I think he continues. Yeah, Toivonen continues. I don't see anyone through the Joker. Here is the Set Esports Team GRX Subaru. They're in a partnership set promotion with Gronholm RX. Here's a Set Esports car of Joni Ollikainen looking for a podium position on Taskinen. Will it be a podium, or will Toivonen find his way into the top 3? We'll wait and see. Ollikainen, remember, started this race from last.
I said don't write him out, didn't I? I said don't write him out of this one. He is a quick driver, and he is showing exactly why he deserves to be in this feature race, and he's putting the pressure on that Williams Esports car of Taskinen right now. At the bottom of the screen, you've got the battle for the lead. Top of the screen, battle for 3rd at the moment.
This is very promising from De Jong. Oh, is he going to make a pass for the win here? There's plenty of laps remaining. I thought Harth had it done, but De Jong has got some stellar pace out of nowhere. It almost reminds you, I watched Formula One qualifying today, and Lewis Hamilton just pops up out of nowhere with great pace, and De Jong seems to be doing the same. Can Johan Harth, the Frenchman, hold off De Jong?
Toyman into the Joker, and he's coming out in third.
So Toivonen into the podium positions. Good spot there, Paul. Toivonen needed to do that. Taskinen and Ollikainen are still squabbling for fourth now. Vital points. But it's all about your race win. Harth is under pressure. He's got to block the apex here.
Now, does Johan try and bring Toivonen into this battle to give Mitchell de Jong a bit of a headache, because it's easier to attack if you've got nobody behind you? But now that Toimonen's there, if you're Johan Harth, do you just hold that apex, slow Mitchell down, and bring Toivonen into that action right now?
Your championship leader, John Robertson's in a bit of trouble, but we think he's going to come out in fifth once he takes his Joker. Zelensky's in fourth. Zelensky's taken the Joker now too, so Taskinen and Ollikainen, after all the battling, are losing pace as this race progresses. But De Jong, he just can't find his way past, can he, Paul? We know he's quicker, but there's the track position here at Iowa. It's one of the most difficult tracks to overtake on.
Here he is, all over the back of Harth, but Harth is doing exactly what he needs to do right now as John Robertson takes to the Joker, and he's going to come out ahead of Bobby Zelensky in fourth place. So crucial for John to get out ahead of Bobby Zelensky. But we're heading on to the final lap, and this is the last opportunity for Mitchell de Jong to try and take the lead.
Johan Harth searching for a third career win. Mitchell de Jong searching for an 11th. Only a few more corners to go between these two. Couple of opportunities left for the American. Oh, and Harth hits the wall. He definitely made contact with the wall. De Jong backed out of it, and we ride on board with the American. Going for the outside, and the victory is Mitchell de Jong in the Subaru Motorsports USA car. He can't get it done. Victory for round 4 from Iowa for Team Yokohama's Johan Harth. What an action-packed final lap. That was Tommy Horman. That's going to be a penalty for him in the Set Esports car. We go green for 2020.
Look at this, Zelensky under pressure into the final corner, but up front, it's going to be de Jong going across the line.
And the engines rev, the lights illuminate. Heat number 2 underway already. Ollikainen to the inside, should take to the hairpin. The outside drivers, including Otto Taskinen, scream into the Joker. How about Johan Harth with that decision? Not to go for the Joker, and he shoves Joni Ollikainen out of the way to begin the season. Oh, issues for Matt Booster. That could have been a slowdown penalty. Same for Garrett Lowe. Garrett Lowe slowed down too, so it looks like Johan Harth will advance. Lights on, and away we go. 5 laps of action yet again. How about that from Rasmus Toivonen? He tried to shove his way to the inside. He's going to accidentally take the Joker. Chaotic start already. It looks like John Robertson, though, leads heading into the turn 2 hairpin.
Yeah, they've slowed each other down, though, and not been able to challenge Conor Parisi for that final qualified spot. Look at that down the inside from Fox.
Now, Robertson's taken to the Joker this lap, so he should be fine to win this event. John Robertson will head through to the final. Conor Parisi joins him in second. We go green for Heat 4. We're going to have to leave him behind. Jake Robertson on the inside lead so far. Garrett Maines to the Joker. He's the only driver to take to the Joker this lap.
Yeah, that's an interesting tactic at the start there, but he's going to get himself some really nice clear ground there. Banging, bumping and barging Bo Albert into the lead of Robertson, but it's right at the hairpin. He can just get it round the corner. Look at this, 4 into 1. It's not going to go here, surely. No, it isn't.
Now, if you're watching Rallycross for the first time and you're wondering what on earth happened on the first lap, this is what this sport's all about. It's physical, it's tough, and it's what we love to see. Within reason, though. Good start from Mäkinen, although Fox has launched it, and he's going to take straight to the Joker here for Hanson Williams Esports. How about Adria Perez trying to bully his way past? There is Tommy Horman, who'll be lamenting this poor round 1 in his Set Esports Subaru. The good news is for this point system is that it'll be a little less dramatic than it was last year. But Tommi Mäkinen is coming through the final hairpin, and he will transfer. He'll be the only driver to transfer. We're going to say goodbye to everybody else behind. We go green for the final consolation race. Drag race, what a camera shot that was. Ollikainen does scream to the Joker. Brilliant for him. It'll be an absolutely demoralizing start to the season if he doesn't advance. To the lead, though, is the Fiesta for Lone Bro Motorsports of Garrett Lowe. He's hit the wall again, Paul. And so does Jake Robertson. Will this impede Joni Ollikainen? Both of them... Will the seas part for Ollikainen here? They're 3 wide at Lånkebanen.
Oh, no!
Ollikainen's turned around. And we go green from Norway for the final time.
Yeah, that was a great launch from Bo to get up into third there. All sorts of shenanigans going on. Parisi involved, Bobby Zelensky involved in that as well. Garrett Lowe, I said he was going to work his way through, and that's exactly what he's doing. Up to your lead.
Look at that. Look at the lead. Lamansivu, an overtake on your 2018 champion. Now, will De Jong take to the Joker? It's a good opportunity, and he does. The Joker Delta to Mitchell De Jong, 3.8 seconds. Lamansivu takes to turn 1 to the hairpin. He's up by 4.5 seconds. This is critical.
Contact.
Oh, Lamansivu has made contact with Bo Albert. That could cost him critical time, as they will scream to the Joker here on the final lap. Who is going to take the lead? Albert's going for the victory. Tries to shove Lamansivu out of the way. Now, where is Mitchell De Jong? De Jong's in third. Contact with Bo Albert. They're going to be squabbling for your final podium positions. They're going to let Lamansivu run away, though. Bo Albert into turn 4. Bullied out of the way. That's going to promote John Robertson into third now. Lamansivu, though, is going to be victor. What a surprise for the 22-year-old from Finland. For Chad Reed 22 Motorsports, he wins round 1 for 2020. Wherever you are around the world, strap on tightly and enjoy the ride. Rounds of wheel-to-wheel action, 28 drivers. This is the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. Hang on tightly, because after our electrifying North American trip, we head back to where we began our 2020 campaign, and it's in luxurious Europe for our second visit to Lånkebanen, situated near the town of Hell in Norway, and it hosts the 5th round of the 2020 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama, with all coverage today on the iRacing Esports Network. Pleasure to have you all joining the coverage from Jonathan Simon. I'm alongside Paul Smith for today. And Paul, round 1 was a classic. We visit this venue again for round 5. Can't wait to see what our sim racers produce.
Yes, certainly a brilliant event in round 1 of this championship, and these drivers really put on a tremendous show. And once again, we're back here. Drivers will have that experience under the belt, so expect things to get a little bit even more competitive.
And we've had 4 different race winners to begin the season. So Paul mentions competitive. This season is certainly alive. And we've also had 4 different pole sitters too. That could change today, Paul, because Mitchell De Jong, our 2018 champion, has yet to win a feature.
Yeah, and he's been there or thereabouts, hasn't he? I mean, you look at round 1 when it was his mistake, really, that cost him and allowed Larry Lamansivu to be able to go through on the inside of the hairpin at this venue to try to get that win. So De Jong owes us a victory in this one, but never write off a lot of the rest of the field here, because there's some seriously talented drivers out there.
Yeah, certainly are, and it's all worth for this. $10,000 of US cash for our series winner. And as we talked about, the series is so variable, we don't even know who's going to receive the 10K prize for winning the championship. Yokohama Pole Award had 4 different pole sitters. Could have a 5th here today in Norway. And the current leader of the Dirtfish Rookie of the Year is Joni Ollikainen, as we'll look at your point structure for today's event. And it is the same as always. It's 6 points for qualifying, 8 for the heat, and that's important, Paul, because remember back in round 1, Alari Lamansivu won the feature, but he didn't walk away with the championship lead. That went to Mitchell de Jong. Yeah,
it shows how this new point system has really tightened things up out there, made it more unpredictable. It's great. It's certainly one to keep an eye on here as we go through the evening.
And your standings are quite close and wrapped up. You'll see John Robertson highlighted throughout the broadcast with a red banner, and that's because he's the championship leader. And he's opened up almost a race advantage on Joni Ollikainen in 4th. There's 29 points available for the maximum that you can actually take home if you score a hat trick. The red, though, Paul, identifies the cutoff point, and that's P10. Those top 10 drivers get to retain their license for 2021.
Yeah, and you look at how Bo Albert, Jake Robertson, and also Tommy Mäkinen are all together on the same point. So that plus minus, it's really tight there to get that automatic qualification. And some vital keys for victory today. Oh, here's the race format, I should say. So the race format includes a few heat races. We're going to have 4 as usual, 2 Marwin Sports LCQs. Only the winner, though, advances from each Marwin Sports LCQs, and that will total up to a 10-car field for our final feature race. Now it's time to look at your keys to victory. Here it is. And so, Paul, the difference with the setup today is some drivers are going to carry their round 1 setups into round 5, but some drivers' driving style changes over the course of the season, and that means adapting the setup. Yeah, you need to be able to adjust that setup, get used to how it feels, and see how your driving style has affected that setup change. They will have spent a lot of time here perfecting that here for today's event. And the drivers are currently in qualifying for round number 5. As we spoke about, yet to have a repeat pole sitter. Now you may be wondering, this Chill Blast Subaru of the Williams Esports team is normally driven by Sami Matti Trojan. Now he has revoked his license, our 2019 champion, over the past week. And the next qualified driver in the Pro Series was Matt Busa, who replaced Trojan for round 1. Remember, Trojan missed that round due to commitments in the Nürburgring 24 hours. That was in the motorsport world. Busa, who's famous for his eNASCAR driving and much more as well. Luckily enough, too, also a member of Williams Esports, which made the deal also easier for him. And Paul, he's ready to go here in Rallycross, and he's certainly impressed in round 1. Yeah, he had that opportunity to race in round 1 and did his best in that one. Now he's getting to race for the rest of the season. It's going to be tough for him, but he will give it absolutely everything for that Williams Esports outfit. 36.5 is his qualifying time so far there, but times are coming in thick and fast. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen that Tommy Holman, currently fastest driver out there, but Mitchell de Jong seems to really enjoy this venue.
Certainly did. He scored pole here for round number 1. It was a 36.059 for Mitchell de Jong. So track conditions certainly improved today as Holman's half a second up as Busa's running or using as the wide points of the racetrack. He's going to have to stop his lap there because I think he cut the track. Here we ride on board with Garrett Lowe. Now Garrett Lowe today, Paul, just came home from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. He was racing his Legends car in there, drove home, made it in time to jump on the sim, and he's ready to go here in his Lonebro Motorsports Ford Fiesta.
Yeah, this is certainly a test of his fitness as well. If you've just had all of that happen in Atlanta Motor Speedway and then have to head on home to be able to then pedal this car around here. But that Ford Fiesta, it's a fantastic job in that car, does Garrett, and one of the few in the Ford, certainly puts in a good display.
And Garrett Lowe's birthday is tomorrow too, so happy birthday to him. He'll turn 19 He'll be 19 years of age tomorrow. He was the youngest ever winner in Rallycross when he was 16 years of age. That's qualifying done. And we're going to take a look at your Heat 1 grid. As Tommy Horman, the streak continues now. We've had 5 different pole sitters. Tommy Horman wins the Yokohama Pole Award, and it's awarded to the fastest driver for qualifying in each round of the championship. They're going to have trouble distributing that trophy, I think, at the end of the campaign. They might have to make 9 of them. Tommy Horman with some brilliant pace starts alongside round 1 winner who took victory here from Norway, Ilari Lamansivu. On the outside is Connor Parisi for Red Carpenter Racing. He made the feature here back in round number 1. Bobby Zelensky and Josh Fox down the order. Surprising to see them qualify so poorly, and Alexei Heikkinen will take home, or will start from, the final grid position.
Bo Albert commenting, saying what a great lap that was from Tommy Horman to take pole position, and it certainly is an impressive lap time, 35.5. As you said, Jonathan, half a second faster than pole position in round 1, so it shows how much these drivers are improving their setups and their driving around this track.
Yeah, exactly. So you couple that with track conditions too, and you get a thrilling lap time from Tommy Horman, who's certainly improved on last year. That's his first career pole position for Tommy Horman. His previous best was to start 3rd, or to at least qualify 3rd. And that means he'll have an opportunity here to potentially have a hat trick. Now, Paul, the past couple of rounds, or the past few rounds, we had Joni Ollikainen win, John Robertson and Johan Hart. There's been 3 hat tricks in a row. It's Tommy Horman's chance to make it the same. That's when you win the heat, qualify on pole, and win the feature.
Yeah, and it's certainly a great opportunity to do that again out there. But here we go then. This is his opportunity. He's got to take it whilst he's got it out there on the track as the drivers getting ready for the green light.
Look for Parisi and Heikkinen on the outside to take to the Joker. Ready to go for round number 5. And we go green for 5 laps of action. Bad getaway by Horman, although he's going to have track position as Parisi heads to the Joker with Heikkinen, exactly as we predicted. The rest of the bunch head to the loose and on to turn number 2. Horman still leads from Lamansivu in the CBDMD Subaru. Zelensky, though, he's got to make a pass here into 4. He thought about it, but he kept it clean.
Certainly did. All trying to hug that curb. That curb helps hook the car around that hairpin at 4. That tricky left-hander. Car always wants to push out wide. Then final turn, get on the power, uphill, up over the camera there, over the jump, end of lap 1. Anyone taking to the Joker this time? No, they're not. So just 2 so far have taken to the Joker, as you can see on your screen on the left.
Now expect Horman to take that on the final lap. What you normally see at our North American venues is the shortcut, and that means drivers, especially in the lead, want to take it as soon as possible. It's the opposite at our European venues. Look at the advantage, though. Horman is pulling on second place Lamansivu.
Great opportunity for Lamansivu to try and basically do a good job like he did last time out, but Zelensky, he's got the bit between his teeth. He wants to show why he's in this championship and show that he's competitive right across the different disciplines that he competes in.
Now remember, Joker Delta is 3.8 seconds. Now Connor Parisi, the leading driver to take the Joker, is 2.4 behind Josh Fox. Fox is being held up by a little bit of traffic, so is Zelensky. Lamansivu just doesn't have the pace at this stage of the heat. And remember, only your top 2 transfer to the feature. Who's going to take to it this time by as they scream over the jump?
Well, we're waiting there. Zelensky's going for it, so he feels it's being held up there. Look at him use the handbrake. Turn that car around. Now, there's Parisi. He's not going to be able to jump Zelensky there, I don't feel. So Zelensky able to get the jump there on them.
I think something's gone wrong between Parisi and Heikkinen, because they have lost a mammoth amount of time last start. That was 7 seconds a lap slower. There may have been contact between the two. And we're also hearing word Parisi spun now as well down the back of the pack. So here's a replay of what happened. Well, we'll actually look at it soon, I should say, excuse me. So Horman to the Joker on the final lap. Lamansivu in second. Fox to the Joker. And it looks like we've got your top two who are going to advance, though. Fox appears alongside Zelensky, and he pulls off the overtake. That's brilliant track position, brilliant strategy from Fox.
Yeah, brilliant stuff there. He used that that free track that Zelensky left to be able to make his way through up into third place. But it's Holman and Lamansivu who are going to take the victory here.
So Tommy Horman, the hat trick is alive. We could have 4 in a row from round number 2. And he wins that heat. He advances along with Lamansivu. That's the first feature race Lamansivu has made since he won this race for round number 1. He's had a poor run since then. And the rest of the drivers come home. Josh Fox with the brilliant overtake on Zelensky. Good strategy between those two. It's actually very odd to see those two miss out on a transfer position in the heat. We've been so accustomed to them being so quick in our heats. And then Alexei Heikkinen ended up ahead of Parisi after Parisi spun down the back of the pack. So let's take a look at your Heat 2 grid. And Mitchell de Jong, your 2018 champion, he's got to make amends for it. He's got to win today, and it all starts from this heat. He's alongside championship leader John Robertson. You'll see him identified with a red banner throughout today. Kilian Delormeau, we've missed him in our feature races. He needs to make it today too, and so does Otto Taskinen. A lot of pressure on this bunch. Matt Busa down the order makes his second appearance for Williams Esports debut as a full-time driver. And Daniel Matrani will line up in the middle of that back row. So for Matt Busa, for those who don't know, he's 26-year-old from Illinois, and he's got a combined 20K iRating pool on all sides of the iRacing service, from dirt road here in Rallycross to ovals to road. He's more than accomplished as a sim racer.
Yeah, he's one of the few drivers who are able to compete right across the different skill sets that you need to compete in World Championships here on iRacing. And you look at some of those other drivers that do that. You know, Mitchell de Jong is one of those who competes across multiple disciplines, and Bobby Zelensky as well is another one. So definitely the one to look out for there is Matt Busa. But right now we're getting ready for the start of this next race in just about 3 seconds time.
So Kilian Delormeau on the outside. Look out for him at the start in the Set Esports Team GRX. Subaru, we're going to go green for heat number 2. Shocking getaway by Mitchell de Jong. Robertson covers him off to the inside. That was aggressive, but Robertson runs hot into the hairpin, and it hands back first position to Mitchell de Jong. No return serve here from de Jong, but the Advanced Subaru goes in hot yet again, and Taskinen has the door, but he has to form up into 4.
Oh, look at Robertson though, trying his best to go on the inside of de Jong, but de Jong's having none of it as they're going through onto the dirt once again through the left. John Robertson, the championship leader, has got all the pressure on him right now to try and progress forward ahead of de Jong. Maybe think a different strategy, do something different to de Jong out there with the Joker, or maybe just do the same and make sure you qualify.
So that, interestingly enough here, Delormeau has the advantage to take the win here. He's 3.1 seconds behind de Jong, and so Delormeau may find himself with brilliant grid position in your feature. But the gap is starting to decrease as de Jong is flooring it. Now remember, Paul, we're expecting de Jong to take the Joker on the final lap.
Yeah, that's what we've been seeing with the race leaders throughout these different heats, these different events. As again into turn number 1, everybody's just staying as they are, and Daniel Matrani, not having the best of races, has actually dropped back a little bit, hasn't he? in this one, away from that top 3 battle. So De Jong, Robertson and Taskinen, they've got to be careful not to slow each other down here.
Now gap between De Jong and Del Olmo, 3.8. So De Jong's got the delta on him, but only by a touch. Gap now 4.1. Kilian Del Olmo is approaching the Nitro Circus Subaru of Daniel Matrani. And Del Olmo is the leading driver to take the Joker. Off to the Joker is Robertson. Great strategy from your championship leader in the Advan Subaru. Where's he going to appear though on the exit? Right ahead of Kilian Del Olmo, and that dashes the Frenchman's hopes.
Yeah, only just ahead though, so Robertson making that and making it count. He'll have had the call from his spotter of, right, come on, let's take this now. Get us clear of Mitchell. Get some a little bit of clear air and to put in some fast times here and hopefully put the pressure on Mitchell de Jong. What do you do if you're Taskinen now, as de Jong takes to the Joker now?
He's got to defend John Robertson. So Otto Taskinen also follows him in the Williams Esports car. Taskinen just misses out on a transfer position. He's going to have to make the overtake stick into 4 on the final lap here of Heat 2. Taskinen with one last lunge. Oh, he might barge his way past. I thought he was about to hip and shoulder John Robertson for a transfer position. But I think that's it. No more overtaking opportunities left. De Jong advances. Robertson, in poor grid position for your feature, still advances and almost loses her over the jump. Classic heat there, Paul. I quite enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that was all about that strategy then when you took the Joker lap, and as we expected, De Jong and Taskinen took it on the final lap. There you go, De Jong, Robertson do qualify. Taskinen, Del Olmo, Busa and Matrane all having to go for the LCQs.
Matt Busa, brilliant performance by him. And we'll take a look at your Heat 3 grid. Same format as always. Bo Albert will start alongside Johan Hart, who has pole. Garrett Maines down the back end of the order. His Dreyer and Reinbold teammate Adria Perez starts behind him. Vicente Salas and Henry Krogstad also in the field. Krogstad had some nice battles here in that Hansa Williams Esports car with Rasmus Toivonen. Wasn't pleased though with some of the contact, and neither was Toivonen in round number 1. Krogstad joins the grid. 3x3. 5 laps of action. 1 Joker available for the drivers. Look for the outside. It's Maines and Krogstad. We go green from Norway for Heat 3. Great jump by your round 4 winner, Johan Hart. Maines to the Joker along with Krogstad as we expected. Bit of contact between your top couple of drivers here. Bo Albert's shoved out of the way by teammate Salas. Your 2 Andretti Autosport cars here squabbling for vital transfer positions, but they've got to be careful. Oh, they've all taken each other out. They're all in the wall.
Well, I'm sorry, but Salas, that's all on you, buddy. You're trying to be too aggressive at the start there, and that could have affected both yourself and your teammates' chances of making this through to an automatic move to the final. So big drama early on, and you would think there'd be some communication between the 2 teammates, but obviously Salas was thinking, I want the position. He's got it all wrong going onto the brakes into turn number 4 there.
So they're all in the wall, as one Andrew Coley once said. I love that piece. And now we've got to figure out who is where. This is going to take some time to write down on my notepad. So you got Perez in first, at least the timing screen tells me. And dare we trust timing screens?
No, he is there. I've just checked now.
In 2020. So Perez is first, which will mean his first feature since round 7 at Sonoma last year if he gets a transfer position. Garrett Maines in second. Henrik Krogstad in third. Now, who's taking the Joker? Someone behind screamed into the Joker. That was Bo Albert in the Gainbridge Volkswagen. So it looks like at the moment, I would say Perez has the Delta, Paul, on Maines. So it looks like Perez and Maines are your top 2, essentially.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but talk about taking advantage of a situation, because Adria Perez was right there behind Salas on lap 1 going into turn 4, and he just saw it all happen in front of him and thought, well, thank you very much, I'll take that position then.
I feel very bad for Johan Harth because he is looking to win this championship and snatch it from his teammate, and he's going to have to do it from an LCQ. And it's ever so tough to make a feature, let alone win a feature, or I should say that the other way around, from an LCQ. So Harth is last, but he's catching Albert and Salas. Reckon you'll punt Salas out of the way, friendly?
No.
Suffer some penalty points.
Well, that's it. You've got to think the long game here at the end of the day. As Perez is going on to the Joker for the start of his last lap, and he'll come out into the lead of that one, so there was no pressure for him. Garrett Maines, though, good performance by him as well. Taking advantage of the situation, and Henrik Krogstad, unfortunate for him, in third place, just missing out here.
Well, Krogstad has been very impressive nevertheless. RX2 champion this year. They only had one round, but it still counts. And across the line, it's going to be Perez making his first feature of 2020. Garrett Maines makes it in the VW Beetle. Hey, we got some V-dubs in the feature, and a lot of them. Krogstad, though, just misses out. And disappointment for the three behind. They'll be all looking at each other and all pointing the blame. Certainly not Johan Harth's fault, certainly not Bo Albert's, but Salas straight into his teammate, and the stewards will look at that during the week, and we could see some post-race penalties. So everybody else still has a second shot here in your Marwin Sports LCQs. We're going to look at your grid for Heat 4. Missing is John Robertson. He's serving a race ban for exceeding penalty points. And that's why it's only a 5-car grid for Heat number 4 here. Tommy Mäkinen has a 5-second penalty in this heat. So even if he finishes first, 5 seconds will be added to his race time. Here we go, final heat of the day from Norway. So look to the inside here. Looks like Tommy Mäkinen is... I thought he was going to take to the Joker, but that looks like it's going to be third place Jonathan Payet in the Dirtfish Subaru. So to the lead is Rasmus Toivonen, who scored a podium last week. He's joined right behind by Tommy Mäkinen, but Sindre Silva at the moment has the transfer position. Silva, we'll talk about him, is running a new livery. You can identify him with an orange top this time out.
Yeah, just helping us out, I think, a little bit in the commentary booth with that Nitro Circus car, but certainly still a striking livery. He was battling with Garrett Lowe on lap 1 into turn 2, as now takes to the Joker lap. They're so committed. It is impressive to see how committed these drivers are into that Joker.
He's joined by Lone Bro Motorsports' Garrett Lowe, but Jonathan Payet's jumped them all. The Frenchman is currently in third and currently has the gap on Toivonen to win the heat and get that transfer position. We'll wait and see how that plays out over the next few laps. So Sindre Silva's livery with the orange top, he actually signed with an esports team called Fox Gaming. He does some Counter-Strike commentating too, but congratulations to him. Nitro Circus has allowed him to represent their colors on that Subaru. But it's all about your transfer spots. 2 of them available, Toivonen and Mäkinen. Now remember here, once Mäkinen serves his 5-second penalty, we could see Jonathan Payet in his first career feature.
Yeah, that'd be great to see him get involved in the features here and get some new names in there and really give us some excitement out there. But those two up at the front at the moment. 2 more laps to go. They shouldn't go to the Joker yet. They should stay in. Although saying that, second place, Tommy Mäkinen onto the Joker now.
And Paul, you mentioned it before, even if you don't get a transfer position, still vital for grid position, as Mäkinen appears ahead of Payet. I say grid position for your Marwin Sports LCQs, so Payet will advance anyway. Final lap's coming up next. Now, if you're Garrett Lowe and you're down on practice, Paul, what do you do in this situation? Remember, he's just driven home from Atlanta racing his legends.
He's just got to go for it. You just got to keep going. and push hard, push to the end like you know you can. I always wonder if they're going to hit the wall there when they go to the Joker, the way they throw it in there. But there's some dirt piled up there that they use to help turn the car around that Joker lap. But yes, Toivonen then, Rasmus Toivonen, Set Esports once again being represented, and Rasmus doing a fine job up at the front.
Had an insane crash in Super 1600 over at Barcelona. Race there in the European Rallycross schedule. Suffered an injured shoulder, but a couple of weeks later and he's racing cleanly. Even scored a podium last week, and he's on track to potentially do that today as he wins this heat. Mäkinen serves his black flag, 5-second penalty, which means Jonathan Payet advances to his first feature race of his career. Payet, who's part of the ever-famous Payet competition. His family runs that team, and they compete in a factory-made Peugeot Sport 208 WRC. He's a driver coach himself and does so much more. Competes in FIA World RX, hoping to do so again in 2021. Here's your first of 2 Marwin Sports LCQs. Josh Fox has got his work cut out for him again. He's got to go through a Marwin Sports LCQ. Only one advances, though. Have a look at this. Will we say goodbye to Bo Albert, who almost won this event in round number 1? And it's a 7-car field because Connor Parisi, who was involved in an incident with Alexi Heikkinen, will the two box it out again in Norway. Gloves are on between those two, I reckon. And here we go. Same format. 5 laps of action coming up. And we go green for your first Marwin Sports LCQs. Horrible jump by a couple of drivers there. So it looks like Fox takes to turn number 1 along with Albert and Salas. Don't tell me it's going to be a repeat because Salas, his teammate, is right behind him. Salas almost turned around by Connor Parisi. Now to the Joker, where 3 drivers. Zelensky leads the drivers coming out of the Joker, and he's in brilliant position here to take the transfer position.
Yeah, ahead of Krogstad. Josh Fox didn't get the best of starts away there, as you mentioned. Bo Albert got boxed in and couldn't go anywhere at the start there. He got a really good start from the second row of the grid. So go across the line then. Fox, Albert, Salas and Parisi.
Look at the back of shot. Sorry, Paul, look at the back of shot. Krogstad making a move. This looks like a Lamansivu versus De Jong, except this time it's the other Subaru Motorsports USA car. That is critically for potentially a transfer position, but ironically, Paul, both of them squabbling could cost them both.
Yeah, it could indeed. You don't want to fight too hard down there, and now Krogstad is trying to get away. He wants to pull away from Zelensky and try and chase down the front 4 and try and mitigate that Joker lap delta. So definitely putting in the good effort, and for one onto the Joker. I think that was Connor Parisi, yeah. So he's taken to the Joker now. Lap 3, halfway through this one.
Yep, US Air Force Subaru's Connor Parisi piles in behind this bunch. Alexi Heikkinen's right behind Parisi now. It looks like all these drivers are going to wave themselves goodbye from Norway. Zelensky made the feature here last time out, but Josh Fox has the delta on all of them. He's got about a couple of seconds advantage. And after all that squabbling, the Williams Esports driver will be enjoying it. Whoa, what's Bo Albert done there? Awful decision by Bo Albert. He's completely taken out Josh Fox. Wow. Who in the world is going to advance here? Salas takes out Krogstad. Oh, it's argy bargy. This is a nightclub fight going on right now.
So Bo Albert was committed to taking the Joker. Josh Fox was waiting until the last lap, and that's one of the problems with this track here, is that you can end up rear-ending the guy who isn't taking the Joker lap. You've got to be so careful there. And Bo Albert, well, he'll be absolutely gutted, and I know that he'll be kicking himself for that mistake. But Zelensky now takes the lead.
He did apologize straight away, did Bo Albert. You're right, Zelensky leads, so Zelensky will make it through. We thought his day was done, because after all that squabbling, there was a separate incident that occurred between Krogstad. We'd love to see a replay about it, but Krogstad was involved, and now there's more carnage as Krogstad just turns Parisi around in the US Air Force Subaru. And that's Parisi's day done. What an awful Marwin Sports LCQ. One man's going to celebrate, and that's Bobby Zelensky. He's not worried about it. I'd be smiling if I was Bobby, who's still in contention to win eNASCAR this year.
Certainly is, and well, he's gone and punched his ticket for the final. But Josh Fox, how heartbreaking is it for him to be out of that one?
Bobby Zelensky, you can see advances. Only one driver advances to your feature. Let's forget about that one and move to your second of two Marwin Sports LCQs. Otto Taskinen on pole. He's had a torrid start to the campaign, but he sort of found his feet throughout the past couple of rounds. Rest of the grid is up on screen. Going to get through this quickly, but down the second page of this list is Johan Harth. He's the critical one we got to look out for. He's got his work cut out for him today. This is his championship on the line, Paul.
You've got to make it to the final here. You have to make it to the final pretty much every week to be able to make the championship work for you. So Johan, he's got his work cut out here in this Marwin Sports LCQ, but drivers getting ready for the start of this one.
Here we go, engines rev, lights illuminate. Final Marwin Sports LCQ of the day. We go green. Whoa, what a screaming start from Johan Harth. Look at the Advan Subaru head into turn one around the outside. He's going to try and jump Otto Taskinen. Harth is into second from the back row. That's one of the best starts I've ever seen. And he just bump and runs here on Otto Taskinen. Now Taskinen turns him around. Oh, more carnage. I don't even know if he's on the racetrack.
I tell you what, I'm glad I'm not a race steward for this one to be reviewing this afterwards, because that one will surely go to the bus. Well, that one, but well, still more shenanigans going on into the final corner, and Taskinen, he'll be absolutely furious about that one as one of the cars pulling over. That's Johan Harth. He's out the race.
I'm not sure if he had a slowdown and then just pulled the pin on the race there, so we'll have to try and establish what has occurred to the Frenchman, and is that his championship hopes dashed right there. But the racing continues here as we watch Garrett Lowe try to cycle his way past. Oh, he gets shoved out of the way by Matt Busa, proving his worth here. Oh, but he gets a slowdown, Busa. He has to let him back past.
Yeah, that was almost taken to a tight end, just swatting away a safety right there. That was just nothing to Matt Busa, but he did end up having to get a slowdown penalty, and that's cost him more in the long run there. As well, Mäkinen, is he primed to take that role, that one qualification spot into the feature race? We don't know yet, because Sindre Silva is pretty close to that delta.
Just signed his contract with Fox Gaming, and in his first race with the team and representing Nitro Circus, could find himself in his first career feature race. But the gap now 4.1. So since you began your sentence, Mr. Paul Smith, it was 3.8. Now it's 4.1.
Yeah, it's the curse of the commentator, isn't it? Something happens like
4.3 now, Paul. Stop talking, please.
But Tommy Mäkinen, this is it. This is part of the thing with Rallycross. You've got to keep your head, and you've got to keep out of trouble. And if you do that, you've won half of the battle there, and that's what's happened there. Oh, Silva getting it all kinds of run, and Garrett Lowe through then.
Oh, he's going to cop a slowdown penalty, I think. He did cut the curb there. Oh, he gets away with it. So a couple of jokers here on the final lap. Mäkinen through. Danny Matrani to second. No! The two try to fight for the same piece of real estate. And that was Garrett Lowe. Straight into the Nitro Circus car. Oh, someone put these drivers out of their misery. Well, they are in about half a lap time. As we watch a replay of what's happened here. So here's Matrani, Paul. And we're going to squabble for... I mean, he couldn't really do much else, could he?
Yeah, there's very little that he can do, but something that we can say is Tommy Mäkinen through to the final.
Yeah, there's a positive to come out of this one. Tommy Mäkinen through first position, and he'll start from the back. of your feature race. Here are the results of your Marwin Sports LCQ. Now, did Delormo take the start? That's the question, because I don't remember seeing him. And potentially, we'll try and follow up on that. So that is tough luck for Johan Haas for Team Yokohama. Now, funny stat for you, Paul. Only Johan Haas and John Robertson were the two drivers to make every feature race this season. Now that remains in the hands of John Robertson. So Johan Haas' consistency remains to be seen for the next 4 rounds. Unfortunately today, out of no control, it was taken out in both heats. You can argue about the LCQ one, but the luck certainly not on the Frenchman's side.
Yeah, certainly not the Frenchman's day. Johan Hart will certainly be hoping for a better time next time out. But still, I'm looking forward to this feature race coming up very shortly.
So don't leave us. We're going to take a quick break here, grab a breather, and we're going to preview your feature race that's coming up on the other side of this. Lovely to have your company for the 2020 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. We've just concluded our Marwin Sports LCQs, and we're about to head into the luxurious feature race here from Norway. It's Lånkebanen, and it's one of the greatest circuits in Rallycross in the world. From Jonathan Simon on hand alongside Paul Smith. Paul, what do you make of this event so far?
I mean, we've seen some tremendous action in quite a few of the heat races. Those LCQs, I think some of the drivers will be a little bit disappointed. I will say, Bo Albert straight away held his hands up. You were right to point that out. He'll be absolutely gutted to have caused Josh Fox to not qualify, but that's how things work sometimes. It can happen at Daytona sometimes. I've seen it happen where you go onto the joker lap, you have to brake earlier. I've seen drivers rear end there as well. So it is something that can happen out there, unfortunately. It's part of the nature of this racing, because you're not there directly communicating with your opposition.
Now, talking about luck and talking about incidents and talking about variability, as we watch some very stiff Norwegian flags fly away here in the virtual Norway. So if Horman wins this, Paul, not only has he already today claimed to be the 5th different Yokohama pole award, or the 5th driver to receive that Yokohama pole award in 5 rounds, he could also be the 5th driver to win a feature, and he could be awarded a gift set from Marwin Sports.
I mean, if he does do that, then that will be a really, really good day at the office for him. I don't know what the tiebreaker is if we do end up with 9 different pole sitters here in this championship.
9 trophies.
But this is the beauty of this championship, isn't it? The tight, compact nature of the ability of these drivers, how close they run together in lap time wise. Just goes to show one little error, one slight slip of the wheels, and well, there you go, you're out of it. So definitely these drivers showing what's happening here.
So there are the live point standings on screen to your left. John Robertson right now almost has a 20, well, he's got a full race advantage on Mitchell de Jong. I almost don't trust that graphic. It's too good to be true. Tommy Horman's got his work cut out for him, though. I actually want to double-check that graphic, because I do feel like the points are a bit wonky there, because I don't feel like John Robertson scored that many points in qualifying. So we'll get that double-checked for you. But he certainly could extend his championship lead here. But Mitchell de Jong, Paul, he's got some, I don't want to say regrets, but remember here for round 1, made a mistake on the opening lap, handed the win to Lamantsivu. can't do that here today from P2.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget you do score points for the heat race as well, not just qualifying. So yeah, it's all about the start here, all about the launch. And if you're on the inside holding that lead, if you're on the outside, take to the Joker straight away. Get it out the way, get some clear run.
And here we go. Time to look at your grid for the final feature race of the day. Tommy Horman starts from pole, the first time in his career to start from pole in a feature. Had he not false started here in round one, could have been the same. Mitchell de Jong has a lot of race wins to his name, and he's got a championship. He's got to win today to extend the lead on John Robertson. Outside will be Adria Perez starting from third. Look out for him at the start. It'll be critical for the Dreyer and Reinbold racing driver to take to the Joker. This is his first feature race appearance since Sonoma last year for round 7. Toivonen will be looking to replicate his podium right next to Ilari Lamansivu and John Robertson, who will start on the second row. It's a 3x3x3 grid here, because cycling down the order. And on the third row, Garrett Maines, Jonathan Payet, and Bobby Zelensky from Tommy Mäkinen in the 10th position, who will start from last. So John Robertson, our championship leader, again, needs to try and keep it clean. He's going to start around the outside. Will he join Perez to the Joker? Will we see what we saw in the All-Star event? That will be critical, seeing about the entire field head to the Joker. That's something to look out for as well. Zelensky and Mäkinen obviously advanced from your Marwin Sports LCQs. Only ever had one ever winner from a Marwin Sports LCQ to win the feature. That was Garrett Lowe back in Iowa in 2018. As we are ready to go for your final feature race. Paul, predictions here.
I think whoever gets to the lead at the start of this race should take the victory here, as long as they keep it clean. Look out for Mitchell de Jong, the middle of that front row. Watch what he does at the launch. See if he can get a good start away here.
This start is ever so critical for Horman. Same so for de Jong. Didn't get a great start last time. 10 laps of action. We go green for the final time from Norway. Horman to turn one. De Jong, interestingly, goes for the Joker. That's a delightful strategy. Robertson joins him along with Perez. Now a bit of carnage down the back of the pack. You've got a Team GRX car shoved out of the way by Lamansivu. Garrett Maines in the VW as well. We see... I saw somebody lifted on down the back of the pack. Utter carnage as Toivonen's turned around.
Oh, absolute heartbreak for the SETI Sports driver. There goes de Jong past him now. So crucially, one of those drivers who have taken to the Joker at the start has been able to get ahead of somebody who's yet to Joker here. So we'll see the timing scoring pillar on the left-hand side update as you go along. But it was crucial for de Jong, I think. Now, as soon as he saw he wasn't taking the lead, he had to take that Joker.
And Mäkinen to the Joker. He's going to rejoin down the back of the pack, so behind Zelensky for Tommy Mäkinen. Perez down the end of the order. So Perez, I think, is the driver who was turned around, because I did see a VW turned around at turn 2, and there were only a couple of them in this heat.
Oh,
so
why is de Jong showing ahead of Robertson?
So de Jong, that would have been through the Joker, wouldn't it? Oh, Robertson's turned around at the hairpin. He's not even in shot. So I see some smoke. Something's happened there.
Yeah. He was behind Zelensky there. So there's contact coming into the hairpin here. And this is Rasmus Toivonen. Or is it just losing it himself? Oh, yeah. There you go. Around he goes. Thank you very much. I'll make my way past.
He seemed to slow down an awful lot, John Robertson, but I'm not going to have a go at that. It was a weird incident. So the race so far, Horman's yet to take to the Joker. We could see a 5th different race winner here, as Lamansivu now is alongside Garrett Maines. The two squabbling for position into turn 1. Great opportunity for Lamansivu to take the Joker, just like Mitchell de Jong did to him in round number 1. And now de Jong's trying to find his way past Garrett Maines. Will this be a first career podium for the Smithfield VW?
He's going to have to try everything. I mean, the thing is, Mains, as you mentioned, not yet taken to the Joker, whereas De Jong has done. So there is that difference there of about 3.5 seconds between the two of them. Right now, Tommy Hallman coming across the line. He's got about he's got the race win here. He's 4.5 seconds ahead here.
Spot on, Paul. I think this is day done. Tommy Hallman is looking to take his first career win. We won't call it yet. We're only halfway through. De Jong, though, has remained consistent, and he's going to claw back the championship lead on John Robertson. Oh, don't tell me that's a slowdown penalty. Oh, it's a legal move by the American, and it's a brilliant one. Mitchell de Jong into second.
Yeah, you look at that. Mains was a little bit out of control going into there. He threw the car into 4, and that just allowed de Jong, who was keeping it calm, keeping it nice and smooth, get onto that curb. It helps hook your car around there, and that's what gave him the purchase to get down the inside of Garrett Mains.
So once Mains takes the Joker, he should appear in the pack between Lamansivu, Zelensky, and the bunch. And your championship leader, John Robertson, identified by the red banner on the windshield and on the timing screens. Toivonen also yet to take the Joker. He should appear behind the rest of the bunch. So unfortunate for Perez. At least he makes a feature appearance. He's essentially out of contention for some good points. He's almost about 30 seconds down on leader Tommy Hallman. Could almost get lapped, I would say.
Now, look at the gap to your leader at the moment. I mean, it was 5.8 seconds across the line. That's incredible how Hallman has been able to pull away.
Oh, now, wait a second here. The gap's now down to 2.9 between Hallman. Oh, so Hallman's taking the Joker. Yeah, I was going to say, he just took the Joker, so I missed that. I got very concerned there, Paul. The graphic obviously doesn't update till now, and that's why I got concerned. So Hallman takes the Joker, looks to take the win. There it updates finally. De Jong in second with another podium. But it looks like Lamansivu, who won here for round 1, could be on for a podium here in round 5.
Yeah, could certainly be. Still plenty of time left. 3 laps. Zelensky looking at Garrett Mains there, determined to try and make his way past here. But you can see that Mains is having to throw that car into the hairpin. Zelensky and also Robertson. And Robertson actually, I think, got a slow-down penalty there. So he's had to back off from Zelensky. So that's him out of that fight. But yeah, Rasmus Toivonen, the only driver yet to take to the Joker. And he's going to do that on the last lap because we saw him just there going through turn 1.
So as we said, we looked at the gap. It's going to appear, I'm not even going to bother estimating, between around Zelensky and your championship leader Robertson, which is critical because Robertson needs these points. He hasn't had the best of feature runs the past couple of rounds. Hallman's going to be our 4th successive hat trick this season. He's been splendid today. Had he not false started in round 1, he could have won this race. It was a chaotic round number 1. No set cars made the feature in round 1 as we see Toivonen head to the Joker. And he'll appear right alongside Zelensky. And he should snatch that position, but all eyes will be on Tommy Hallman. 5 different race winners from your first 5 races. 5 different pole sitters. A new race winner as well. Tommy Hallman is officially a World Championship race winner in iRacing, and he celebrates with delight. Set Esports back to victory lane.
Great stuff there from Tommy. Brilliant work from him. He's going to do some donuts around the roundabout, the centre of the track there, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, the rest of you feel going through, but I tell you what, Tommy Hallman and Mitchell de Jong, they put on a great display. De Jong had to make some moves there, so he had to make those moves count.
And Rasmus Toivonen, his teammate, he's in the sister team for Set GRX, joins him with the donuts. You can just see him barely in shot. There he is, Rasmus Toivonen. Great teamwork. They all spot for each other too when they're not in the race. So if one person misses a certain feature or a different race, they all help each other out. But here are your final race results for round number 5 from Lånkebanen. Tommy Horman wins, and he takes his first career win, his fourth career podium. He was ever so close to winning, but he'll be glad he achieved that here today. No Joni Ollikainen, and so Ollikainen absent from today's event, and we'll try and get word on what happened to him, because that's going to be detrimental to his championship, which means that for Horman, he still scores some strong points for said esports. De Jong with another podium, yet to win a race. Can you believe that in 2020? But he's still in contention for the championship. Will we see a Matt Crafton situation here, where De Jong wins the championship? Lemon Sibu with another podium, his first feature appearance since his win here for round number 1. Rounds out the top 3. Garrett Maines, that is, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, because as talented as Garrett Maines is, that is a career best finish for him in the 4th position, right ahead of Rasmus Toivonen. Zelensky, the seas parted in the LCQ, didn't it? And he made the most of it. Finished within 10 seconds and brought home one of 2 Subaru Motorsports USA cars in the top 6. Championship leader John Robertson, he and Johan Hart will be looking back at that round going, what in the world happened to us both? Because the luck just wasn't on their side. But for Robertson, I think it's got to start in qualifying. Grid position critical if he wants to win this championship and keep that championship advantage alive ahead of De Jong. For Jonathan Payet, first career appearance, made the most of it again in 8th. Tommy Mäkinen in 9th. Adria Perez, a DNF in his first feature race appearance of the season. All right, we're going to step aside for a moment, but we're going to bring you our top 3 after this. It's all coming up here. We're going to speak to winner Tommy Horman, speak to your podium, so much more to wrap up too. What an entertaining round of the 2020 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama.
Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
Oh, what a finish. What a race. And I'm out of breath. And I enjoyed that one for sure. It was an entertaining one here from hell. And it's one that we're not going to forget. 2 great races it's produced on our 2020 calendar. And we're going to speak to your race winner, Tommy Horman, who wins his first career event. We've got 5 race winners from your first 5 rounds, 5 pole sitters from your first 5 rounds, 4 hat tricks in a row. This season, Tommy, you couldn't script this any better, and you couldn't script a more thrilling win for yourself. How does it feel?
Yeah, thanks. It feels amazing. It has been quite a roller coaster season so far, and just massive thanks to the whole team, my spotter Joe, and everyone involved. It was just a mega race for me, and yeah, just speechless.
Talk about, you know, the work you've put in over the off season to improve your pace. You only joined iRacing a few months before the 2019 World Championship, got yourself a license, put in hard yards after hard yards, and finally your pace has improved. Is it only uphill from here for you?
Yeah, I think we've done quite a huge amount of testing between the races, and now I think the rest of the events are in the tracks which I enjoy, so I hope that the pace will be good there as well. Of course, this time we did the qualifying on the worn track, which helped me a lot. I really enjoy driving on the worn track instead of sort of fresh track, so it was good for me, and now kept the pole position in the heat and race, and yeah, it's amazing.
And how good does it feel to not false start this time, Tommy, which means you actually get to win this event? It could have been the same in round 1 for you, man.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, back then I did the mistake with the screens, and then I had to adjust them just on the grid, and that's why I got confused and did the jump start. But yeah, could have been the point standings could have been a bit different now if I wouldn't have done that.
Well, the good news is that you do claw back a bit of the advantage to John Robertson and Mitchell de Jong and the rest of the bunch you're fighting with. I think championship is still alive for you, even though you're a race behind. I still think if you string some results your way, bit of bad luck for the others. Are you still thinking championship?
I think we are going for like one race at a time now, just trying to win every event from now on, because the gap is still so big that I cannot really start thinking about it too much, just trying to get the wins. And I'm really sorry for Jon that he had some glitch and he couldn't drive the race now, so it was really bad for him, but we are still fighting.
Yeah, I was about to ask about Joni, so that's why he was missing from the grid, because when I didn't see his name on the list, I thought maybe he was going to be a late arrival, but it just seems like he told you he's clicked the join button or something's happened where he couldn't join the server?
I think he said that he joined, but then there was some glitch and he got thrown out from the entry list for some reason. We don't know why, but there was no coming back after that.
Well, there you go. Some bad luck for Joni Ollikainen, but surely he'll be celebrating with you, Tommy, of course. You did win. It's a bittersweet day for him, but congratulations once again, man. Very happy for you. All the hard work's paying off.
Yeah, thanks, and big thanks to the whole team and all of our partners.
Well, from our race winner then, we head on over to second place, Mitchell de Jong. And Mitchell, I mean, we keep on meeting like this. Second place for you once again, Mr. Consistency. Just talk us through that, because that was quite an eventful day for you.
Sure, yeah. I'm pretty stoked with how it turned out. Of course, it wasn't a win like we were hoping, but kind of how things were. Starting second in the feature there, taking the Joker lap one. You know, it's a risky strategy because you're definitely going to catch a little bit of traffic. We did a little bit there, but still, honestly, everything kind of worked out ideally. I think we were a little bit off pace in the beginning of the feature compared to Tommy, but it seemed like we started equalizing towards the end, and I'm pretty stoked at that. Tommy was kind of in a league of his own throughout qualifying and everything, so you know, to get some good points, another really solid finish, just keep the momentum going. I feel like we're making pretty strong gains setup-wise from the last one, so you know, we just have to build from here. I really want to win one of these soon, and of course, we want to win the championship, so we'll keep pushing.
Well, that's it. You do gain points on John Robertson in the championship. Was it always your plan then, at the start of this feature, middle of that front row, to go for the Joker lap straight away? Kind
of decided last second, but seeing how it kind of played out in some of the other heats, it pretty much convinced me that was probably the move to do. You know, if I had gotten a better start where I could have challenged Tommy on the outside, I could have stayed, but I think for how equal it was, I think this was the right move. Of course, you put yourself at risk in traffic, but you know, it like I said, it kind of came together. So pretty stoked with that.
And of course, you mentioned the traffic there. Garrett Mains, you had to work your way past him, and you proved that this track, even though people say it's hard to overtake, it is hard, but it is possible, and you made that one stick down at the hairpin at turn 4.
For sure, yeah. I'm pretty stoked that we also were able to still have a clean race, so not using any incident points. Obviously, things can go wrong in a hurry, so it's very helpful to, you know, have some to spare there. So, you know, we had a good battle and another clean one. So move on to the next round, and we'll continue the fight back.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Mitchell, and congratulations, then. Second place once again here. All the best for next week.
Thank you very much.
Time to speak to your round 1 winner from this very racetrack. His name was Alari Lamansivu. Alari, it's great to actually see you back in a feature, man. There's something about Lånkebanen that just suits you so well, and a bit of luck on your side means another podium. Congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you.
Was it a splendid race for you? Was it seamless? Was it easy? How can you put this race in words?
I don't know. I just didn't have any thoughts about for the race, because kinda the championship winning is kinda lost for me already, basically. So now I just try to focus for one race at a time, and so yeah, I didn't kinda have any thoughts, and just was thinking the result will be what it will be. So I'm happy for the third third position.
But there is something with the setup for this round, and I remember Otto Taskinen, who's a teammate with you at Vendeval. You guys work together, of course, outside of your actual rallycross teams that you signed to with Chad Reed. But you guys just have something unlocked with the setup at this racetrack. You guys are quick around here because all of you in qualifying were up there and had great grid position. Is there something that is a secret with the setup for Hell?
Yeah, I think this is the track where we have used most of the time to make setup. So of course it's possible to see the result then. So yeah, let's see. Maybe it will be nice if we also use more time to do next races in the season. So probably it also helps us to get better results. Then let's see.
Now, you didn't make any feature race appearances since your win. What do you put that down to? Do you put that down to a bit of luck, a bit of speed, a bit of both?
At second and third race, I really practiced pretty a lot to those, and I had pretty nice speed, and but maybe it was like a bit luck things, and also like poor choosing. Example, the Joker lap in Atlanta, but the last race, the fourth race in Iowa. There I just basically didn't have speed at all because haven't really practiced the track. So kind of that wasn't like I wasn't upset after that race because I just didn't have the speed. But those second and third races still all the time in my mind that those could have went way better.
Yeah, awesome. All right, we're going to leave you to it, Alari, but great to see you not only back in the feature, but on a podium, man. So keep it up. Hopefully back at Sonoma. You guys can be quick at Sonoma, hopefully?
Yeah, that track was in our Finnish championship race. So all the Finns have basically practiced a lot that track. So I hope to see pretty many Finns in the main final next week.
So we've got 7 Finns in the World Championship right now. Are you saying that you're going to see top 7 next week is going to be all Finns?
Never know.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. You never know, man. All right, we'll leave you to it, Alari. Thank you once again. What a classic event, Paul. Again, this circuit doesn't disappoint. This series doesn't disappoint, man. I am not disappointed coming out of this one for round 5. The championship's still alive. We're going to look at the points right now because it's going to be John Robertson maintaining the championship lead, but look at the advantage he has on Mitchell de Jong. He could have clawed him to a 1-race advantage. Now it's only down to 11. One qualifying, one heat goes wrong for John Robertson. De Jong snatches the championship lead.
Absolutely. This is why I called him Mr. Consistent. He's thereabouts, is Mitchell, isn't he? Always in there. He just need to get a championship a win here in this championship because definitely he's got the ability and the talent there, former world champion of course, but look at that though, your top 10 is finally got a little bit of separation there in that top 10 because beforehand there were 3 drivers equal in 9th place, so things are starting to settle now in this championship.
Yeah, not by much though. It's only a few points from Josh Fox all the way down to Otto Taskinen, but there's 3 out, 3 in, and everybody else looks like they got their work cut out for them. Jake Robertson serving his race suspension will return stronger than ever, hopefully, at Sonoma. The young man's very quick, the youngest driver in the field, but heartbreak pull for Joni Ollikainen. I was wondering why I didn't see him in the field today because I swear I knew he was racing. I knew he was going to be attending today, critical for the championship, but just nowhere to be seen, and a technical issue meant the said esports driver falls down the order.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Joni, but unfortunately that's how sometimes the championship works out here at this event and at this stage. So you never know. You could end up with, we could end up like we had today, a funny race, and he could be back up there challenging. So don't write him off yet, but it's going to be tough there. 36 points back. Yeah,
surprised. Now, I don't say this in any malicious form, but surprised to see Bobby Zelensky in 6th in the championship. I really feel like it's not the same Bobby Zelensky. He's been so occupied with trying to win a world championship in NASCAR and try to make himself filthy rich. Let me tell you that much if he brings that one home. But to see him 6th in this, I mean, he's just so incredibly talented. We'll have a look at your schedule now. as we're about to wrap up the season. So head to Sonoma for the first of 2 trips there to California, Bobby Zelensky's home circuit. Same so for Mitchell de Jong, who hails from Temecula in California. And then we head to Lucas Oil Phoenix, and then we get a week's break between that final round at Sonoma in early December. The championship's still alive. 5 different race winners to begin the campaign. Oh, I can't believe it. And these 600 horsepower mean machines will be back racing again in 7 days' time on the 7th of November until we head back to North America and to Sonoma, as we spoke about for the first of 2 trips. Round number 6 of the 2020 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. That is one not to miss. It will take place on the iRacing Esports Network. Thanks to all the viewers who joined us for today's coverage. Thanks to our series partners too in Yokohama, Marlin Sports and Dirtfish, for their support throughout the 2020 campaign. From Paul Smith, Tyler Maxon, Chris Leone, Tyler Hudson, Drew Adamson, and our entire production crew behind the scenes, Jonathan Simon on hand. Hope you enjoyed today's action. It was a thriller, wasn't it? Where we crowned a brand new winner, our 5th different pole sitter and 5th different race winner in the opening 5 rounds in Tommy Hallman for said Esports. We're going to say so long for Europe for this campaign in 2020. Back to North America, back to sunny California for round 6. Wherever you are around the world, strap on tightly and enjoy the ride. Nine rounds of wheel-to-wheel action, 28 drivers. This is the iRacing Rallycross World Championship.